Ooh. Fatality. Hey everyone, what's up? It's me, Yemmy the Ferret here with another episode of YemmyCast, a video game podcast on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes. Not really Twitch, but kinda. Thanks for coming around, everyone. It's been a glorious day. Accidentally hit start streaming when I meant to hit start recording in the recording of this episode. So if you saw that stream, props to you. You kinda saw what I was gonna do this entire time. But this is the Mortal Kombat 11 episode. So thank you for coming around. I appreciate it. We're going to talk all things Mortal Kombat today. We got a few news stories that I picked out, some of them older, some of them newer. We'll discuss what they're talking about. We're going to go over the character list, and we got a special guest for this episode, Marco Flores, aka Nerd in the Bay, who is also a podcaster and video maker himself, is going to be on to talk about fighting games, and that mainly centers around Mortal Kombat. We talk a little bit about Soul Calibur, but mostly Mortal Kombat. So this is the Mortal Kombat episode. We will not talk about any other video games. Maybe. All right, let's kick it off with a question for Mr. Predicto. Hey, Mr. Predicto, is Mortal Kombat 11 gonna be Game of the Year material?
The answer is yes.
Ooh! All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Predicto. So, the podcast is always trying to improve. Last time I was too far away from the microphone. This time we're going to try and stay this close to the microphone. And I am also going to be taking off my sunglasses because they kind of hurt with the headphones on. Alright, so the first topic today is from GameStop Italy back in December, and they revealed new information about Mortal Kombat 11 that you may not have known about. So, this listing said that Mortal Kombat 11 is going to be running on an entirely new engine. There's going to be new customization for clothing, accessories, and movesets. So the one thing that Mortal Kombat X did wrong was cut up the movesets into 3 different characters. I thought that really hampered your gameplay. That's probably why there wasn't as many characters, because you had to kind of design new moves and have these 3 different slots for each character. It was annoying. I hope they don't do that with this one, because that would be a real letdown for me. I think it really just disrupts the gameplay. Some moves that you think should be universal get cut out. It's annoying. Another thing that NetherRealm has been doing recently is clothing customization that's way too far. So Injustice 2, I know it's not exactly Mortal Kombat, but Injustice 2, they decided to change the system so that your gear was mattered. And I felt like this was a bit of a downstep for me. I didn't like that as much. I like having changeable costumes like in Mortal Kombat X, Mortal Kombat 9, Injustice 1, Gods Among Us. I felt like those were the best. Like that, I love the different outfits you can do. Like in Mortal Kombat, you should be able to choose the old 90s version and this version. You know, don't let me have 2 different versions of a character. Let me customize them 2 different ways. It just thinking about it makes my skin crawl. So that's one thing I hope they don't do. Is the clothing customization that actually adds stats to your characters, and also the in general having 3 different movesets for all your characters. I thought that was just a real thumbs down from me. But in addition to that, the new fatality system, and there's a new gore tech system, and they're going to make executions even more brutal than previously. The game also promises to include a strong multiplayer component and cater to the esports crowd with improved matchmaking, personalization systems, and daily news and updated rewards. Cool news for the esports community and for people who like to play online. I hope they keep the system in where if someone disconnects or leaves the game because they rage quitted, that they'll just stand there and let you beat them up. I really enjoyed that system rather than just disconnecting and not being able to finish someone off. Because, people talk lots of smack, through messages, through voice chat, through whatever, and 9 times out of 10, they kick your ass, but the one time that they don't, they'll usually rage quit because, they don't want to see you beat them up. They suck, they stink, but, hopefully they keep that system in where they'll just stand there, let you beat them up, do a fatality on them, and it'll also give you that win stat. Alright, so the people who were hoping that Shaggy from Scooby-Doo gets in the Mortal Kombat 11, well, you're going to be kind of disappointed. Smash Bros. Ultimate isn't the only game that people want some crazy characters in. Mortal Kombat 11, one of the big memes of this year was the inclusion. People wanted the inclusion of Shaggy into the game, because there was a clip from like a strange not really a knockoff, but it was like a weird Scooby-Doo movie where Shaggy all of a sudden gets confident and like has superpowers or something and beats up a whole biker gang, and they're like, please put Shaggy in, you have the rights to the character, just put him in. And unfortunately, the creators of Mortal Kombat 11 have said this: Shaggy will not be in the game at all, ever. Sorry, dead meme. And then they posted on Twitter later, rip Shaggy. So, like Scoob, we gotta get out of here, because Shaggy's been cut from the game. He's not going to be in the game at all. But is that for sure? We don't know. He could still be a surprise appearance in the game. Remember Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? No one thought that was going to happen in Injustice 2, and look at where we're at. We have TMNT. What about this? Maybe Shaggy could possibly be a character. Maybe they'll just make a skin for someone. Maybe it'll just be like an April Fool's joke. Who knows? But we shall see, because crazier characters have gotten into Smash Brothers, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighters. Why not Shaggy in Mortal Kombat? That's what I'm asking. Mr. Predicto, why? Will there be a Shaggy appearance in Mortal Kombat 11?
The answer is no.
Aww. Well, you can't argue with that. Sorry, everyone. Mr. Predicto's word is bond. Alright, so the first DLC character for Mortal Kombat has been revealed alongside Noob Saibot, who is returning to the game, and the character is Shang Tsung. Interestingly, the character is voiced by the Japanese-American actor, martial artist, and stuntman, Ignition, Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa, who also starred as the same character in the 1995 Mortal Kombat movie, which is amazing. I feel like this is a great character, a great addition to the roster. Why are they announcing DLC so soon, before the game even is announced? Probably just to get some more hype. I'm already hyped for this game. Like, you saw me punch Mike Wazowski in the face. Like, that wasn't just, Mortal Kombat. That was Mortal Kombat, yes! I love the Mortal Kombat series. I've been playing it since Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe, but I love the Mortal Kombat universe now. I love the story, I love the characters, I love everything about it, the art style and everything like that. This is going to be really cool to have in the game. Maybe this will be like the DLC for this game, since Mortal Kombat X was more focused around horror icons like Leatherface, Alien, Freddy Krueger, the Rock dude. I don't think he was actually a horror icon. Not the Rock, like Dwayne the Rock. This guy who could use rock. Well, it doesn't matter. Maybe they'll do something like this. Like, they'll do like classic martial arts movies or something like that. Maybe we'll see Chuck Norris. Maybe we'll see Bruce Lee make an appearance in this game as their characters, of course. Maybe we'll see. Oh wait, I already went over the Shaggy one. Wah, wah. Alright, so this is a cool reveal alongside Noob Saibot, who is returning to the game as well, alongside Cable and all those other characters. We'll get to those later. But Shang Tsung, very nice, very cool, very interesting. Alright, so during the State of Play, I didn't talk about this last episode because I knew I was doing this. The new Mortal Kombat trailer called Old School vs. New School is out now, and it's showing off all the different versions of the characters that are in the game. So there's the old version of Johnny Cage meeting the new version of Johnny Cage. There's Johnny Cage, old version, punching, what's his name? It shows new version of Johnny Cage punching old version of Kano in the nuts. It's amazing. Y'all should check it out. It's a great trailer. It kind of confuses you, but it also kind of excites you even more, because it's like, holy shit, we're getting all these characters back, and now we kind of know why, because there's going to be some kind of time travel paradox kind of thing going on. We all know that Raiden is going to be sort of the villain of this game. Everyone's kind of teaming up to take down this evil version of Raiden. So we'll see how this all gets together and conspires together. Liu Kang and his best buddy in the world, Kung Lao, meet up and they fight their new versions of them who are demons. I feel like this is kind of like a cop-out because they killed all their characters in Mortal Kombat 9 in that one fateful scene, and I feel like they're just like, we need to kind of bring some characters back. There are some new characters in this one, but for the most part, a lot of the reveals have been characters who were killed in Mortal Kombat 9 during that huge scene, and I'm glad that we're seeing them come back. Mortal Kombat 11 is looking to be like just the ultimate Mortal Kombat experience. It's not like Super Smash Bros. Level yet, but we could see a reveal of tons of more characters in the future if that's the way they want to go with this one. I have a lot of high hopes for this one. The story looks intriguing. Like I said, it looks kind of crazy, looks kind of confusing, but I think once you start playing it and getting into the story, we're all going to see that, yeah, this is going to be the best Mortal Kombat story that we've had. Now, I know these games aren't supposed to be like based around story elements, but the one thing from Mortal Kombat 9 that I loved about the story mode was the fact that there were multiple characters to fight during each battle. Now, it could get a little taxing, like remember the Raiden fight when you're in hell and you're fighting like 15 people in a row? Stuff like that is a little much, to be honest with you, but I feel like if they have another game, like, two characters fighting you at the same time, not at the same time, but, they can change out and stuff like that. I feel like they bring that back. That could be really cool, especially with the old school versus new school kind of thing going on. So this is going to be cool. Obviously, there's two versions of a few characters that we've seen so far, like Jax, Johnny Cage, and I believe Cassie Cage had a double too, or was that the other girl? I'm sorry, it's Sonya Blade. Sonya Blade, you saw two different versions of her. Of course, the new two different versions of Kano, and stuff like that. So, going to be pretty cool. I'm excited. Let's see if the game lives up to the hype. All right, so here are all the Mortal Kombat confirmed characters so far. Baraka, who is my personal favorite character in the game. He's just really cool looking. I know they kind of used him as like a meat bag in Mortal Kombat 9, and not really an X because they killed him off in X, but he's back. It's okay. He's back. Congratulations. Hurrah. Everyone claps. Also coming up, also in the game is Cassie Cage, Aaron Black, Devora, which is a throwaway character, the new character called Garrus, who is kind of like the tyrant from Mortal Kombat 2, which is kind of scary, Jackie Briggs, Jade, Jax Briggs, Johnny Cage, of course, Cabal, Kano, Kodokan, who is lame, Kung Lao, Liu Kang, Noob Saibot, Raiden, Scorpion, Shang Tsung as DLC, Scarlet, Sonya Blade, Sub-Zero, and Shao Kahn as a pre-order bonus. I feel like Shao Kahn as a pre-order bonus is pretty good. Would I like to see Goro again? Maybe. But this is fine. I like this list so far. Of course, Devora is a throwaway character, and I didn't really use Scarlet when she was... I think she was a DLC for Mortal Kombat 9, right? I didn't really use her, but everyone else looks pretty good so far. Some new characters in there, some old characters in there. We'll see how this list grows as we get closer and closer to the actual release of Mortal Kombat 11. All right, so this is the newest news that we have so far for Mortal Kombat 11, which is the fighters will be a little more covered up, spelled with a K. So Mortal Kombat 11 has been a huge game for violence and gore and blood, but also for big boobies. Big boobies and big butts. We all remember Mortal Kombat 9 with the Mina, scantily clad Mina, just pretty much just a wrap around her boobs and a wrap around her nether regions. Get it? Because nether realm, nether regions? Ha ha ha! I'm so funny. Ba-ding-ching! Anyways, they're going to be covering up the characters a little bit more as to be more equal with the genders and stuff like that. And I feel like this is fine. I never really played Mortal Kombat games for the scantily clad women in them. Of course, it's not like it didn't help sell the game to have, characters who were practically nude. A lot of games have been doing this for a while. Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, of course. There's a bunch of other games out there that have women who are scantily clad, and I feel like it's a good step in the right. It's a step in the right direction to get a more equal, like, who's going to actually go into a fight wearing just a wrap around your chest? Like, that's not going to happen in the real world. I feel like this is fine. This is great. It's kind of making an equal playing field for both men and women in this game, because the gaming community, gamer girls have actually risen to popularity in these past few years. Like, there's a lot more than there was back when I started gaming, of course, and it's really cool to see companies actually looking forward and saying, okay, we should probably not have these characters be so overly done. I know, if there were dudes in this game that were like, I have a 16 pack and I'm only wearing underwear, I would feel a little weird too, all right, to be honest with you. But the art director Steve Barron came out and said, you're not going to wear a bikini to a fight. You're not going to be showing too much skin. I think it's just what the game is about. You're going to fight for your life, and you're not going to be wearing such a scantily clad item. I'm sure that this will disappoint some fans. We don't have bathing suit fighters, and I think that's fine. If people are disappointed, I don't regret making the choice. And to be fair, the hook of this game right now has kind of been this loot system that they're talking about, and the developer doesn't necessarily want to be removing gear. You know what I'm saying? We'll see how that goes. I know the customization feature in Injustice 2 was a little bit too far. I didn't like the character designs or the pieces of clothing that I got in that game. They made the characters look weird to me. And in total, Injustice 2 was kind of a failure in my eyes, just as a DC fan myself. And also the Injustice 2 comic books were also pretty weak as well. But we're not going to get into that right now. I'm excited for this. I'm hoping they still have the option to change character costumes, or character looks, kind of like they did in Injustice 1, where they had all the different comic book characters, and from old time and new time, you could kind of change them out. Also, like, reskinning the character, like, instead of it being Hal Jordan, it was Jon Stewart as the Green Lantern, which was really cool. They even changed the voice actor for them. Or like in Injustice 2, when it was Raiden, and you could change to Black Lightning. That was a cool thing to put in there as well. So hopefully this opens up more room for other developers to follow in their footsteps. But I think this is a great idea, and I give them a thumbs up. And now it's time to get Nerd in the Bay on the podcast. Also goes by Marco Flores. If you want to, you can subscribe to him on YouTube, Nerd in the Bay. You can follow him on Twitter, which is @Nerd in the Bay, and you can also follow him on Anchor, which is where his podcast is, and that's Nerd in the Bay as well. So, without further ado, let's jump into this conversation with Nerd in the Bay. And I'm actually going to disappear here. So, Back to the Future. We're just going to disappear, and I'll reappear later as Marty McFly reunites my parents and makes them fall in love. Hey, Nerd in the Bay. How you doing? Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Thank you for having me in the YemmyCast.
So, I know you mentioned Mortal Kombat 11 before. You're actually going through the, I guess it would be called the remake, but everyone calls it Mortal Kombat 9 on the channel right now.
Correct.
I mean, I've played most of the Mortal Kombat games. I started with 9, of course, because that was the PS3 era one, and I didn't really own a PS2 or anything like that at the time. And one of the first games that I bought on the PlayStation was Mortal Kombat versus DC.
Oh man!
So I was introduced into the series in the bad way.
Oh man, and its hokiness too, because they were. I know if you look back or you play back on MK versus DC, you'll see some influences of what you see today, like maybe the X-rays or just like the interactions, or like I don't think there's a rage system yet in MK versus DC that's stemmed from where MK11 is heading, but like I do see where the trajectory of some of the things that they did back then in that game, and I didn't get to play that game in particular just because like I guess the superheroes can do like fatalities, like a full-blown dark fatality if it was Superman, unless you were like a villain, or like the Mortal Kombat guys had like just watered down like I just like broke your arm and like and I punch a tooth out sort of thing.
Yeah.
I've seen those fatalities, but I cannot like put my like seal of approval to say that like that's a quote unquote fatality, but they did what they could, I guess.
The one thing that bothered me was the 3D environment. it was a 3-dimensional game instead of a 2D fighter, like almost pretty much every other Mortal Kombat game.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I was so perplexed by it because I had only played like Street Fighter 2 on my PC when I was a kid, and I
Mhm.
was like, this is I don't like unless it's like Dragon Ball Z, I don't want a 3D open world, not really open world, but open area kind of the battling. So that's
Yeah.
why when I finally did get Mortal Kombat 9, I got the complete edition after all was said and done, and I was like, this is a 10 times better game,
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm having fun with it.
That's good. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Like when when it went to that 3D that 3D arc, I would say, like if there was like anime arc, Mortal Kombat, they went through a 3D arc with like Deadly Alliance, Deception, and then Armageddon. I mean, that was when fighting games were in a lull, and the people that were just playing Third Strike were just playing Third Strike. And then with Mortal Kombat wise, that was basically the only franchise pretty much that were kind of doing new games at that time. And I played those, and I enjoyed it for what they were. But like in terms of like a competitive fighting tournament, watching it on Evo or watching it on Twitch, like that's not something I would like to watch unless it was in the creation of like Soul Calibur, and where they have 3D fighting down
hmm
packed.
Yeah, I don't want to move away from Mortal Kombat, but real quick, I think the newest Soul Calibur game that came out last year, vastly underrated,
Oh
in my
yeah,
opinion. I don't even in the magazines that I read and the websites I go to, hardly anyone mentioned it. And I was like, what?
yeah, yeah. Like I think people at least where I read my fighting game news and competition stuff. Yeah, like it's Soul Calibur, the newest one, as quality as it is, it's not being played up to like maybe audience should get to know this game. And it's tough. That sucks because there's a lot of fighting games. There's a boom of fighting games going on right now, and
hmm
unfortunately, Soul Calibur is just there rather than like, oh, it should be pushed. Yeah, it's unfortunate because Soul Calibur, is a quality game franchise as well.
But
Yeah.
anyways, going back to Mortal Kombat, of course, uh, Mortal Kombat 11 is coming out. Obviously, the hype is real for that game. To
Oh
be honest
yeah.
with you, they brought back my favorite character, Baraka, after they killed him
Oh
off
no,
in
yeah.
X.
Oh
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah. I was shocked when they killed off Baraka.
well, and then they had him be like a computer controlled character, but you couldn't actually play as him. I was
Yeah.
very heartbroken,
Yeah.
and luckily they brought back a lot of characters that I found really accessible in Mortal Kombat 9. Like
Right.
there's the guy with the hook blades. What's his name? Cabal or
Cabal.
something? Yeah,
Yeah.
Cabal.
Cabal.
Like I used to use him religiously in that game, and
Oh yeah.
then obviously with the storyline going on, he was killed, and X he kind of came back as like a demon thing
Yeah.
with everyone else who was killed, and I was like,
Yeah,
just
everybody died through Sindel. Like, I mean,
I
spoiler
know.
alert if you never watched like the storyline of Nine, but like, yeah, Sindel killed everybody, and then they all become like undead. And then, but yet, if you kick Quan Chi in the balls enough, you'll be undead, you'll be re-alive or something like that.
Yeah.
You just have to be nearby for the AOE effect.
I am really interested to see where they're going to go with the story in this one. Obviously, it's continuing off of Mortal Kombat 11, where Raiden has the amulet, and I just thought that first trailer they put out for the story like set the scene so well for
Oh
what they
yeah,
wanted to do. I
yeah.
was like, okay, this is going to be. I hate to use the word, but it's going to be epic.
Yeah, yeah. For real, NetherRealm Studios is the standard bearer when it comes to fighting game storyline, like single player storyline.
hmm
Because when they were not doing like when they weren't doing Mortal Kombat 9, storyline wasn't so much of an importance. And then Mortal Kombat 9 came out, like, oh wow, yeah, you go through the mythology of the characters, and you see like a reboot, a retelling of like the first, like, was it the first three Mortal Kombats in that story, in the story mode, and then just continuing on to this, like, this juncture timeline where Raiden is becoming more like corrupt, and like with Mortal Kombat 11, where we're having time travel in our high fantasy martial arts, like literally a movie at this point,
hmm
and you're going up against undead Liu Kang, while like young Street Fighter Alpha, like Liu Kang and Kung Lao are like, what is going on here? And
Yeah.
it's kind of reminding me of I don't know if you read comics, but like all new X-Men, when the old '05 X-Men came back to, I guess, that present timeline, and then like you see like the current '05 X-Men is like, oh, Cyclops is watching President Cyclops saying that he's more of a dick and he kind of killed Professor X, and young Jean Grey's finding out that like, oh yeah, Jean Grey was been dead because she was the Phoenix, and she never got brought back, and that sort of thing. And yeah, it's crazy, and I'm really looking forward to. I mean, the fact that we get 2 Johnny Cages, like that's in itself enough for me. So.
Right. I like how in the we'll talk about the state of play in a second, but I love how the first scene in that is just Johnny Cage punching the guy in the nuts,
sliding in a split punch and punching. I don't know if people are aware, like that's Mortal Kombat 3 Kano, because the whole thing about the time travel, they're getting a bunch of the characters from different timelines of Mortal Kombat history. So like, yeah, he was split punching and sliding, I might add, to Kano's like, nuts, and that was hilarious. And then like, yeah, like I said, 2 Johnny Cages bantering back and forth, like you can't go wrong with that.
Wasn't one of them holding like a Johnny Cage action figure too?
Yeah, he was, and still being just a dick Johnny Cage.
Yeah. One last question for Mortal Kombat. Which character would you like to see die in Mortal Kombat 11?
Yeah, because people have to die.
Yeah.
Oh man.
If you say Baraka, this podcast is over.
I mean, I'm not gonna say Baraka, but like Baraka has been getting the jobber treatment in Mortal Kombat X, and like whatever in Mortal Kombat 9, as I'm going through, like, man, Baraka's just getting taking losses here and there. Like,
he's like every other story mission is Baraka and someone else.
Yeah, exactly. And now Baraka's getting his spotlight, especially. I'm digging that Shao Kahn, like just the helmet he has. As like an equipable for one of his costumes, or just like equipment that he can use, like that's pretty awesome too. Let me see who has to die. You know what? If it'll really affect, like people will be raging if actually Johnny Cage would lose his life here at this point.
Oh yeah,
because he did die in 3, storyline wise. And then he had to come back like Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 sort of thing. It's like, oh yeah, no, that was a stunt double that died, and then yeah, just to bring him back. But that would probably be an effective death is Johnny Cage, and then yeah, I would say Johnny Cage, both of them, both Johnny Cages.
And then also from Mortal Kombat 9, there was a huge group of people who just died in a matter of seconds. Yeah. Which one of those people are you most wanting to see back again that haven't already been announced?
You know what? That's a good question. Let me see. You know what? As much like I would say Stryker in a sense, because he was cool to play in 9, but I know people treat him as the joke character, like the Johnny Cage wannabe. But like he was badass in 9. Like some of the moves and like the combo setups that he can do. Like yeah, I would say, like to have Stryker come back out. You know what? Nightwolf. As kind of boring appearance wise he looks, he was doing some pretty good damage when he had his turn in terms of the storyline. So I would say either one of those two, like Nightwolf or Stryker. Oh man.
Well, hey, I have a running gag on the channel right now with it's called Mr. Predicto, and what you gotta do is just ask him a yes or no question, and he'll give you his honest opinion, or actually his honest prediction about the question. So if you have a question you want to ask him, ask away.
Mr. Predicto. That's pretty much on the spot, but will Baraka die in Mortal Kombat 11?
Oh man, Mr. Predicto, will Baraka die?
Definitely not.
Oh, I had a mini heart attack there. Yeah, no, sometimes he'll say definitely yes. Oh.
I'm sorry I didn't have to brought that up. Like I was like, oh man, what? I got to think of a question right now. I got to think of a question. Yeah.
No, we got a good answer.
Your favorite characters can stay alive in Mortal Kombat 11.
Oh my gosh. Oh. All right, well, that does it for this episode of YemmyCast, a video game podcast. As always, I am your host, Yemmy the Ferret, and I really appreciate everyone for stopping by and enjoying your time here. Of course, like I said, I did a little bit of an oopsie, and I accidentally streamed what I meant to record, so if you're watching this for the second time, I really appreciate you. As usual, YemmyCast, a video game podcast, premieres Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's available on all other platforms the same day. Same thing with Saturdays, except sometimes it's a premiere, sometimes it's not. It's a real hit or miss. You thought I was going to play the soundbite, didn't... Ah, damn it! Anyways, thank you all for showing up to this episode of YemmyCast, a video game podcast. It was the Mortal Kombat 11 episode. I'm really excited for it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Let me know what you thought of the conversation between me and Nerd in the Bay. I really enjoy everyone's constructive criticisms and all the love that I get also. If you want to, new SoundCloud alert. I still have the YemmyCast one that's still there, but now I'm uploading kind of like electronic EDM type songs, kind of space themed songs onto a new SoundCloud called Space Ferret. So if you want to, you can search that and you can follow me there. The link will probably be in the description of my videos from now on. Remember, it's Space Ferret, and it has a picture of a ferret inside of a astronaut's helmet, so there's no confusion. I have a few songs uploaded there. Some of them are kind of space trash. Some of them are kind of cool sounding, I guess, to me, myself. But thank you if you do follow me there. I'm not trying to force you to do anything, but if you want to, you can check me out there. But I do appreciate you being here, clicking the like, clicking the bell, and also subscribing. Anyways, once again, thank you. I am Yemmy the Ferret, aka Yemmy, and this has been another episode of YemmyCast, a video game podcast. Finish him.